Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. With the All-Star game in the rearview mirror, the Tigers are back at it tonight. Yoenis Cespedes, Victor Martinez, and the rest of the Tigers welcoming in the Orioles, including Manny Machado, Adam Jones, a pair of All-Stars in the lineup tonight for the O's. Game one featuring the Tigers and the Orioles. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba, glad to have you with us here tonight as we crack open the second half of 2015. Rod Allen joins us in a moment. Look, the mission for the Tigers, quite simple. You've got to play better baseball beginning tonight here at Comerica Park. Why? Well, the Tigers are 9.5 back in the Central Division race. Kansas City already a winner today in the first of their doubleheader. But let's focus in on the wild card. The Tigers and the Orioles right now are tied for 3.5 back of that second wild card position. Both teams needing to start the second half with a victory. Welcome in Rod Allen, my partner. Rod, it's quite simple. The Tigers need to play better baseball, maybe more specifically here at home.
You know, it took the Tigers about 3 months to get themselves in this mess that they're currently in right now. They're 9 games back as far as the Central is concerned, but don't panic. Try to pick up 1 game a week, which is doable against a team like Kansas City. They also play them 12 more times this year, but you are absolutely right. They've got to protect home court advantage. They have not done so this year. They've got to be better.
All right, now everybody says it all starts with the pitching. The Tigers believe that. We believe that. Anibal Sanchez goes tonight for the Tigers. Really over his last, couple of weeks, maybe a month, he's been awfully good.
Well, last 6 starts, to be honest with you, he's been stellar. He's won 5 of those himself, and the team's won the other game. So they're 6-0 in his last 6 starts. The fastball, much better command. He's got a really good two-seamer these days. Also, outstanding changeup, which is going to be a big pitch for him tonight against a very over-aggressive swinging Baltimore Orioles squad.
All right, should be fun. The Tigers break open the second half of 2015. After a short break, we send you back to the Call Sam Studios. We'll check in with Johnny Kane. We're coming up tonight. Well, J.D. Martinez had an all-star first half. He is primed for a big second half. Tigers O's next. Sanchez will climb on top of the hill and make the start tonight for the Tigers. He is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Anibal Sanchez making his 19th start this season, and he's won 8. He's lost 7. The ERA continues to inch its way down. He has punched out 136 this year, and he's only walked 37, and he's pitching his best baseball as we speak.
Here is the starting lineup for the Orioles tonight, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Machado, Paredes, and Jones. Your top three: Davis, Wieters, J.J. Hardy in the middle. Snyder, Scope, and Parmalee, the bottom three tonight for Buck Showalter and the visiting Orioles. Here we go. The second half of 2015 is underway, and the very first pitch is grounded to short. Manny Machado retired, 1 gone.
And while we have a moment, I'll set the Tigers defensive alignment for you. It's presented by Beaumont Health System. Third start at first base for Avila. No errors and 25 chances. The rest of the infield: Kinzer, Iglesias, Castellanos. The outfield: Cespedes, Ghost, J.D. Martinez, and the youngster James McCann is back behind the dish.
And Sanchez now will face Jimmy Paredes. Both of these teams come in tonight at 44 and 44. A .500 first half for both squads. Paredes having himself a fine year, .299 with 10 home runs. A lot of his damage came in the month of April as he looks at a strike on the outer edge, 0-2.
And Paredes looks like he has studied a lot of video on Robinson Cano. He looks exactly like Robinson Cano in the batter's box.
Now Sanchez with the 0-2. Missed it inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That might be where the similarities end, although Cano having a down year in Seattle this year.
I didn't want to say it, but I agree. 1-2 the count. And Sanchez missed outside, even the count now, 2-2. Paredes hit .385 in the month of April, but the month of July just has not gone very well for him. .194 this month. And he swings and strikes out. 2 up, 2 down.
We're going to see quite a bit of that tonight from Sanchez. He's got the outstanding power changeup. He also has a really good breaking ball. So the plan for him is to get ahead with fastballs and then expand the strike zone with good breaking balls, good changeups. That's a good breaking ball there thrown by Anibal.
So now here is the all-star Adam Jones, who is hitting .281. Jones 43 RBIs this year.
5-time all-star Adam Jones. He has gone the 4 last 4 times in a row.
Jones has hit 14 homers this year. Terrific two-way player, outstanding center fielder. 1 strike to count on Jones, who replaced Alex Gordon as the starter in the left this year for the American League All-Stars. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I wonder why in the All-Star game they have 3 center fielders starting. Kane started, Jones started, Trout started. But when they hand out the hardware at the end of the year, the Gold Gloves, you have to play one specific position to get that armor.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Checked it. Did he go? Did not. So says Chris Siegel down at first base.
Speaking of Gold Glove, Adam Jones won 1 last year. As a matter of fact, he's won 3 Gold Gloves.
Sanchez ready with the 2-1 pitch. Chris Davis waiting on deck if Jones were to reach. Orioles come in with a record of 3-8 in the month of July, so they've been kind of streaky this year.
They just cannot win games on the road. Tigers having a tough time with winning games at home. The Orioles, one of the worst teams in the American League at winning away from their ballpark in Baltimore.
Here's the 2-2. Lifted to right field, hit pretty well. Coming to the corner is J.D. Martinez. He'll get there for the out. And a 1-2-3 first inning for Anibal Sanchez. the first inning. Their starting lineup tonight presented by the Michigan Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Kinsler, Cespedes, and Victor Martinez in the top 3 spots. JD batting cleanup and playing in right field. Castellanos and Avila. Avila at first base. McCann, Iglesias, Anthony Ghosts, a 10-game hitting streak going. MGM Grand Detroit brings you the scouting report on Ubaldo Jimenez.
He's made a tweak to his delivery, which is allowing him to command the baseball a little bit more efficiently, not going over the head with the windup as he has in the past, and which means he's throwing a lot more first pitch strikes, pitching to a lot more contact, but he's had difficulty here in Detroit. He has made 9 starts, and the ERA is approaching 7 here in the Motor City. Overall numbers are really, really good for Ubaldo. I mean, this guy struggled to win a spot in their rotation in spring training, but he has arguably been one of their best starters this season.
Well, he's facing Kinsler here to start things off in the bottom of the first. And Ian looks at a strike called by home plate umpire Fieldon Culbreth. 0-2. Kinsler hits that one foul down the first base line late on a fastball to 93 from Jimenez.
Before Jimenez was traded to the Cleveland Indians, and when he left the Colorado Rockies, he had a fastball that was in the upper 90s, 97, 98, with a good split, good breaking ball, but no longer does he throw 97 miles an hour.
Back up the middle. Hardy can't get to it, into center field, a base hit. Kinsler a leadoff single.
Tim Hortons will sponsor the defensive alignment for the Baltimore Orioles this evening, and it's a very good defense. They've only committed 39 errors as a team. Manny Machado has won a Gold Glove. Hardy in the shortstop position won 3. Jones in center field, where I shortchanged him 1 Gold Glove. He has won a total of 4 out in center field, so it's a really good defensive team under Buck Showalter.
Here is Yoenis Cespedes, who is residing in the 2 slot of the lineup these days. Of course, right before the All-Star break, Brad Ausmus made a change to his lineup. After they had struggled mightily, Cespedes became the number 2 hitter, has done good work. He provides an element of power to that 2 slot. Runner was off to a breaking start, but Kinsler holds at first base.
You can run with Jimenez on the mound, and he does not hold runners very well, does not have a very quick move over to first. Therefore, the guys that can run here tonight, they will try to exploit that weakness really early against Jimenez.
And Kinsler draws the throw. Wieters, meanwhile, coming off the disabled list, hasn't had too many chances. He's 3 out of 9, 33% behind the dish. Kinsler 6 stolen bases this year. Cespedes showing bunt, drops one down to first base. Armley going to second. They'll get the force there. One out. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. It also brings us to the Bernstein advantage, the pitcher-batter matchup. And this one here, Jimenez against Martinez, belongs to Victor. 333 against Ubaldo.
What in the world was Cespedes doing there?
I was about to ask you. You're the analyst. I have no idea.
Come on now, Yoenis. I mean, he's got a ton of doubles. He's got home run power. And he gives away an out. Nice heads-up play by Parmelee. Not a first baseman by trade, at least not in the big leagues, but he has played a lot of first base. He came up in the Twins organization at the first base.
Victor looks at a strike, 0-1. Martinez, the designated hitter, batting .272. He's got 5 home runs this year. This is how they play him defensively. Not quite the shift that we normally see against Martinez, but there is a runner at first. This is an Orioles team that does like to shift. We've seen several ball clubs along this season that do it more than others. Baltimore is one of those teams. Buck Showalter at the helm of the Orioles again this year in his 6th season. Runner goes, swinging a foul back. 1 ball, 2 strikes. here you have it. They've employed 649 defensive shifts this year, which is third most in the major leagues. Houston and KC are 1 and 2. They've estimated 19 runs saved, which is tied for the most. So the shifting has, by and large, worked out well for the Orioles. Now the 1-2. 2-2. Here's my question about the shifts, though. I mean, would this be considered a shift, the alignment the Orioles have right now? Because it's not really an overplay.
I wouldn't personally consider it a shift. I mean, really, the only guy that's totally out of position is their third baseman, Machado. He's about 20 feet off the third baseline, but Hardy not that far up the middle.
Throw back, and Cespedes back in there. Tigers batting in the first inning. A single by Kinsler got things started. He was then forced at second base by Cespedes. Victor had some pointed comments at the end of the first half. The Tigers lost 3 out of 4 in Minnesota. He quite simply said, we need to do everything better. And he drives one high in the air and deep into right field. Davis going back to the track, to the wall, and that one is gone.
That would qualify as doing something better.
6th home run of the season for Victor Martinez. 2-0 Detroit. And Victor has backed up his words.
Location, location, location. And that's a fastball that's about 90 miles an hour that splits home plate. And Victor Martinez gets underneath it and lofts it into the seats in right field. What a pretty swing there by Victor.
Effortless, really. Victor watched it a while. Wasn't sure that ball was going to leave. He hit it so high. J.D. Martinez looks at a strike, 0-1. So the Tigers strike first on the home run by Martinez. RBIs 31 and 32. One ball, one strike to JD. What a first half it was for Martinez. 25 home runs. A 913 OPS. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Yeah, pretty good breaking ball there thrown by Jimenez. About 83, 84 miles an hour. Nice break, nice tilt on the outside portion of home plate. Had JD out in front.
They're playing Martinez to pull. The second baseman Scope is on the third base side of the bag at second. Here's the 2-2. 3-2 now on JD. Castellanos waiting on deck. He also has picked it up offensively. Swing and a miss. Martinez is gone. That'll be the first strikeout of the game for Jimenez. We'll bring up Nick Castellanos. It also brings us to In the Driver's Seat, brought to you by Kia tonight. And Castellanos, part of this group right here. The Tigers batting average this month awfully good, and he's just one of 5 guys that are really going off in the bat.
They really are. I mean, Cespedes, Castellanos, as you mentioned, Victor. Victor's already done damage here tonight. Ian Kinsler and also JT.
Ball 1 to Nick, who's batting in the 5 slot in this one this evening. He's knocked in 38 now, and Castellanos has hit safely in 11 of his last 13 games. He sends one high in the air and deep into left field. On the move is Snyder. He's going to go to the edge of the warning track to haul it in. However, the Tigers score first tonight. Victor Martinez goes deep. 2-run shot. 2-0 Detroit. Martinez. And Anibal Sanchez goes back to the hill. Chris Davis will start things off for the Orioles. And Davis looks at ball one. Now this is a shift that they have on here against Davis. Kinsler is on the right side along with Castellanos, who is in short right field. And he'll go the other way. So much for the shift. A looping single to left.
And Davis does not do that very often. I mean, he is a dead pull hitter.
So the Orioles get their first base runner. That'll bring up Matt Wieters, the catcher. Really warm and muggy tonight at the ballpark. Game time temp 85 degrees, but it seems a lot warmer than that. And in fact, this weekend is supposed to be very muggy. You love the humidity, right, Ryan?
You know, it's not that bad when you have a chance to wear some shorts and, you know, you're out, you're working out, and that kind of thing. I like to sweat, you know, but in a suit sometimes a little hot.
Yeah, the old humidity is a whole lot different right now than it was at any other time this summer. It has gotten muggy, and we're supposed to be that way the entire weekend. There's a ball inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Orioles have to be really accustomed to that, man. In Baltimore in the middle of the summer, it gets as humid as anywhere in the country. Wieters at 265. He's hit 3 homers. That's in there for a strike. When we talk about Tommy John surgery, we usually reserve that for the pitchers, but occasionally you'll see a position player have to undergo that surgery, and Wieters is one of them.
Yes. Anibal can go a couple of different ways here. He can elevate the fastball with 2 strikes, or he can simply bounce a breaking ball up there.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Sanchez got him 1-2-3 in the first. He is in a really good stretch right now. 5-0 in his last 6 starts. That'll bounce in. 3-2.
2.84 earned run average in the last 6 starts. The opponent's batting average against Sanchez at just 182.
J.J. Hardy waiting on deck. Runner goes on 3-2, and it's lined to center field, a base hit. Davis on his way to third base. He'll make it easily, and the Orioles now have runners at first and third and nobody out.
And Davis on the move from first base, and he gets a breaking ball. That would be Wieters that stayed up in the strike zone. He put a really nice swing on it. A hit right back up the middle, and with Davis on the move, no need for him to stop. He was able to get all the way over to third without a play.
Here is J.J. Hardy. One of the things the Orioles had struggled with coming into this game was their batting average in the month of July, just .215 as a team this month. So they've had trouble getting the bats going.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of guys collectively struggling. Usually you might have 1 or 2 guys in your lineup that aren't necessarily pulling their weight, but other than Manny Machado, a lot of their guys have struggled in July.
Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike on Hardy.
The Orioles are finally healthy, though. Hardy has spent some time on the DL. You talked about Wieters and the Tommy John. He has spent time on the DL this year. Jonathan Schoop, their very talented second baseman, time on the DL.
3 pretty significant pieces in their lineup. That has popped up foul back out of play. Well, they're pretty good with men in scoring position in the American League at 290, behind only Toronto. The Tigers on that list as well. The American League average 255 this year. The 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes on J.J. Hardy. Waiting on deck, Travis Snyder. skied in the air. Kinsler coming under it. And the runners will hold, so Hardy unable to score the run.
J.J. Hardy now 0 for 11 in his last 11 opportunities with runners in scoring position.
We'll bring up Snyder. Batting .257. Snyder, the last couple of years over in the National League with the Pittsburgh Pirates, was acquired in a trade in January with Pittsburgh. Outside 1-0. Last time the Orioles and Tigers met, it was the ALDS last year, and of course the Orioles swept the Tigers 3 straight, ending the postseason run quickly for Detroit.
Not only did they sweep them, but they beat their best 3. They beat Price, Verlander, and Scherzer. None of the 3 got wins in the series.
Remember that poster one of the Orioles pulled out? He had a picture of Price with an X through it, a picture of Scherzer with an X through it. They were just going down the list of all the Tigers they had beaten.
Yes, indeed.
Swing and a miss.
And that was after the Tigers had dominated the Baltimore Orioles in the regular season last year.
Yeah, they had won 5 of 6 between the 2 squads. The Orioles had some guys out, Wieters and Davis, Machado. 1-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes now on Travis Snyder. Jonathan Schoop will be next for the Orioles. Tigers enjoying a 2-0 lead early here on the home run by Victor Martinez. Two balls, 2 strikes. Low, and now the count fills 3-2. Sanchez was ahead of Snyder, but no longer.
Well, you wonder what Buck Showalter will do here with Wieters at first base in a 3-2 count, and Travis Snyder in the batter's box as he dares start him from first.
Somewhat risky, I would think.
It's very risky.
Let's see. Runner holding on 3-2, and it's popped up left side of the infield, foul ground. Castellanos, and there are 2 gone. So the runners are anchored to the corners. Snyder unable to get it done. That'll bring up Schoop. Schoop at .255. He was on the disabled list in April with a knee injury. He drives one foul, back out of play, 0-1. Schoop last year hit 16 home runs. He has hit 5 this year. As a matter of fact, 5 of his 11 hits this season have been homers. Sanchez 1 out away from getting out of this jam. First and third, nobody out. Now 2 outs. And it's driven to right field and a base hit. And just like that, the Orioles get their first run. So Schoop gets his 11th RBI.
It's a nice piece of hitting here by Schoop. It's a fastball that's outside at about 93. He simply reaches out and has enough coverage with the bat to get there and hit a solid single into right field.
A 2-out RBI hit for the number 8 hitter, Schoop. That'll bring up Parmelee. Parmelee, the former Minnesota Twin, wearing Orioles colors now. Parmelee getting the start at first base. They moved Chris Davis to right field, at least for the last couple of weeks. He's been playing out there in right to get Parmelee's bat in the lineup.
They really like Parmelee at first base.
Sends one high in the air to shallow right field. JD Martinez under it, and that'll end the inning. Orioles going to run on 3 hits and lead 2. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Ram Trucks, find your summer of fun with great deals at the Ram Summer Clearance Event. And by Maxwell House Coffee, good to the last drop.
Now that looks like fun.
It is country night here at Comerica Park in a 2-1 ball game. What would it take to get you on the mechanical bull?
I don't know about the bull, but I put on one of them hats.
Would you?
Yeah.
It's a lot safer. Here is Alex Avila to get things started in the bottom of the second. And Ubaldo Jimenez goes back to work after allowing the 2-run homer to Martinez in the first. Avila playing first base tonight in place of Miguel Cabrera. There's a ball outside, 2-0 the count.
Jimenez has 5 different pitches. A couple different fastballs, 2s and 4s. His 4-seamer gets up to about 94 miles an hour, but it's been this 2-seam fastball that's been a really positive pitch for him this year, anywhere from 89 to 91. He also has a splitter that he'll use quite often, and the slider. He does also possess a curveball and a changeup, but does not use those last 2 as much as he uses the first 3 that I mentioned.
Jimenez is now 31 years old and native of the Dominican Republic. Drill to right field, and Davis comes out to make the play.
Davis is not an outfielder by trade, but he's a pretty good athlete. He can run balls down in the outfield. He also has a really good throwing arm in the outfield. Doesn't go laterally as well as most outfielders do, but routine plays in the outfield, Davis can make those.
Well, and the Orioles, for the most part as a team, have been very good defensively. They have the best defense in the American League.
And they say his concentration wasn't up to par when he was playing first base. Therefore, they moved Parmelee to first base to possibly help out Manny Machado on the other side. Manny's already made 12 errors this year.
Here is James McCann with 1 out. McCann enjoying a 7-game hitting streak, which has bumped his average up to 280. He's knocked in 21 this year. Sends a chopper back up the middle. Schoop, tough play. His throw is in time. Nicely done.
There aren't many second basemen in the American League that have a stronger throwing arm than Schoop. Robinson Cano most definitely does. But after that, not many. He can make that play going up the middle. He grabs the baseball and adjusts it, and while it's in his glove, to get the best possible handle before throwing that ball across the diamond.
Threw a clothesline there off balance.
Good arm.
2 down now for Iglesias. An all-star first half for Jose. Was 0 for 2 in the all-star game, but made a terrific defensive play. He'll look at strike one.
It's a play that we get a chance to watch Iglesias make on a nightly basis, but when you're playing on a stage like the all-star game, and many people have not seen Iglesias play shortstop, they were simply in awe of his play. But David Price was commenting afterwards saying that, you know what, he makes that play 10 out of 10 times, and JD Martinez also said the exact same thing, and we watch him do that nightly.
I mean, to most, that was a spectacular play. To Iglesias, it was, dare I say, somewhat routine.
We have to catch ourselves sometimes up here talking about some of the plays that he makes are routine, because they're not routine plays, but they're routine for him.
He's knocked in 15 this year with his .314 average. Now the 0-2. Bouncing ball toward third, foul. It was fun to see Iglesias get an opportunity to go to the All-Star game for the first time in his career. Likewise, JD Martinez. You know, the grizzled vets like David Price and Miguel Cabrera, they've been there over and over and over. But for Iglesias coming where he came from with the injury last year to the All-Star game this year, pretty impressive. He'll take first base as he's plucked by Ubaldo Jimenez. 2-out base runner now.
It's the fourth batter now that Jimenez has hit this year. And really nowhere for Iglesias to go. And with 2 outs, you wonder if Ghost will take a pitch or two to allow Iglesias to steal second base. We've already told you that you can run on this combination.
Anthony enjoying a 10-game hitting streak, the longest of his career. Nine bags this year for Iglesias. Measuring his lead against Jimenez. Runner goes. Here comes the throw from Reeders. It is not in time. Iglesias 10 stolen bases on the year.
That base was stolen on Jimenez because Reeders, I mean, he had a real nice exchange. The footwork was good by the catcher, Reeders. He threw a strike down to second base, but it was a jump that Iglesias was able to get, which allowed him to steal second base. That's our Chevrolet high-strength steal.
One 1-0 on Ghost. Weeders now 3 out of 10. We'll see if the Tigers can plate a 2-out run here. They lead 2-1 in the second. Here's the 1-0. Ghost cuts and misses. 1-1.
A good off-speed pitch there thrown by Jimenez. As a matter of fact, the last week or so, Anthony Ghost has been getting a steady diet of off-speed pitches. No problem hitting the fastball for Anthony.
Driven to center field. Jones on the run. Still going back. That ball is over his head and over the wall for a ground rule double. And the Tigers add another run.
There's one of those fastballs that Anthony Ghost for the last couple of weeks has absolutely been feasting on. If you go back to that series in Seattle, it's 93, it's firm, it's straight, and he puts a really good swing on it. And Jones in the outfield, if he can't run it down, really it's not, no one can run it down. He has that kind of range in the outfield.
Make it an 11-game hitting streak now for Ghost. It's his 14th double of the year. He's got a career high in extra base hits this season. Here is Ian Kinsler. So the Tigers take advantage of a 2-out hit battery, and they manufacture a run with a stolen base and a double. Kinsler had a single in the first. Fouled off 0-1. Sanchez now a 2-run lead to work with again. Now Jimenez will step off. Keep in mind, this is a pitcher in Jimenez who is really good over his last 8 starts, a 2.45 ERA. It slides low and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tigers really haven't stolen as many bases as they did early in the season.
They did the exact same thing last year. Got off to a really nice start, stealing a lot of bases in the second half of the year. And they didn't run that much.
In his 3 previous starts, Jimenez had given up just 1 earned run in 20 innings. The Tigers have put up 3 already tonight. Swing and a miss. Down goes Kinsler. That'll end the inning. Tigers will get another run. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire. Situation when you got a hit batter and stolen base and Iglesias comes around to score. Maybe he'll be our Tigers player of the game tonight. It's presented by Fox Sports Detroit after the game, and McDonald's Big Mac and 10-piece McNuggets. So stay tuned for that on Tigers Live. We'll select our Tigers player of the game. And right now the Tigers enjoying a 3-1 lead as we go to the top of the third. Sanchez goes back to work. Top of the order, Manny Machado, Jimmy Paredes, and then Adam Jones. Next one is in there for a strike. 1-1 on Machado.
Machado already with 19 home runs, which is a career high. The most that he had hit in the big leagues. He hit 14 of those back in 2013.
Well, he had himself a big month of June, hit 365 last month and had 42 hits.
He also hit 51 doubles back in 2013, and a lot of those balls he used to hit for doubles are now carrying out of the ballpark.
That's something you see in guys like Manny. You know, he's got good size, but now starting to fill out a little bit more.
Maturing as well, learning the league, knowing when he can go for a home run, knowing when he wants to go for a base hit the opposite way, and picking better counts to hit in. He's always been a really good player. Came up as a shortstop, now playing third base.
Pulled foul just outside of the bag at third.
The home run contest was very interesting, very entertaining, one of the best that I've seen in a while. And all the guys held their own. Manny was in the home run contest as well.
Honestly, I thought it was the best that they had put on. I love the clock idea.
There was a lot of theater with the Todd father in Cincinnati.
Yeah, a lot of drama there.
Those guys were getting tired after that first round. I'm like, this clock's a pretty big deal, but at 4 minutes of just constant swinging, and they got tired.
3-2 pitch is on the ground at third, right by Castellanos. It'll be a leadoff single here in the third. Game break time. Here's Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. Yep, the Royals, well, they do it again. As a result, the Tigers coming in 9.5 back. We'll see what transpires here the rest of the night, and in game 2 there.
And Machado standing on first base, one of the few guys on their team that will run. And James McCann behind the plate is well aware of that. And he has done a marvelous job this year whenever he's given an opportunity at throw-up would-be base stealers. Going to throw over one more time.
Ooh, closer.
Brad signaled to Fielding Colbreth, who is the home plate umpire, to wait a second, we want to look at it. Looks like he got back in safely.
He's back. It's a great shot right there. Paredes struck out in the first inning. Orioles already have 4 hits. Paredes back in the month of May had a 12-game hitting streak. Machado held at first base by Avila. He came off the bag, but Avila did not keep the tag on him.
Manny with 13 steals this year. 13 of 16.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 on Paredes.
That's really been a good pitch for Sanchez his last 6 starts. He's had a really good two-seam fastball, although this one didn't dip as much. It still had some nice movement away from Paredes. Two-seamer 89 to 91. Four-seamer gets up to about 95 miles an hour for Anibal.
Sanchez has gone 9 straight starts now where he's thrown at least 100 pitches. Last time he didn't do so was way back in middle May. Low, blocked by McCann.
When you call for the breaking ball, you have to have confidence in getting down to block it. This is about as good as it gets for the youngster McCann. Textbook.
One, 2 is just off the plate. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Jimmy Paredes. Sanchez allowed 2 hits to start things off in the second. They eventually got a run. Adam Jones on deck. Swing and a miss. Paredes out on strikes. The second time he's fanned tonight.
There's that butterfly changeup, and better known as a circle changeup, fading down and away from Paredes. Outstanding pitch. for Anibal Sanchez, located beautifully. And a nice block again by the catcher, McCann.
So here is Adam Jones, who flied to right field back in the first.
Adam has grounded into 13 double plays this year, which makes it very important for Anibal Sanchez to continue to keep Machado at first base. Continue to pay close attention to Manny Machado.
Drilled but fouled down the left field line. Jones started his third consecutive All-Star game. Fifth appearance. The last Oriole to start 3 in a row was Cal Ripken back in the 80s, and Ripken actually went into the 90s. He had 16 in a row.
Adam Jones is carving out a really nice career for himself in Baltimore. He is one of the best two-way players in our sport.
Jones at one time a #1 pick of the Seattle Mariners. Back then the Orioles had Eric Bedard, and the Orioles traded Bedard to the Seattle Mariners. Jones coming the other way. Adam, a San Diego kid. Swing and a foul, just got a piece of it. 0-2. Three runs, 3 hits for the Tigers. The Orioles are run on 4 hits. We're in the third. First of 3 between these two teams as Seattle comes to town.
Adam Jones will chase a breaking ball with 2 strikes, but if you do throw it up there, you've got to be willing to bounce it.
High fly ball right field, chasing Martinez back. JD still going to the corner to make the catch. Jones has put a couple deep into the right field corner. 2 gone.
We're going to make that our Bale Tire pitch by pitch, and how he was able to work through Adam Jones, very dangerous #3 hitter for the Baltimore Orioles. Up and in, first pitch, then he goes away with a breaking ball and then back upstairs. So he made every pitch there, and he had a plan with every pitch as well.
So with 2 outs, here is Chris Davis. Power threat with 19 homers. Strike 1 on Davis. It was just a couple of years ago, 2013, that Davis hit 53 home runs. Knocked in 138. In fact, that season was so good, he ended up 3rd in the MVP voting. Wasn't going to win it that year despite monster numbers because Miggy won it that year. Trout finishing 2nd, then Davis 3rd.
You can see by the numbers that he does not do that well away from Camden Yards. 205 batting average for Davis.
And he drills this one high in the air and deep into right. Martinez to the wall, leaps and makes the catch. JD pulled it back. Davis made a bid to tie it up. Martinez says, no, sir.
He timed it perfectly.
And then he times himself perfectly, knowing exactly when to leap. He leaps and he does not jump into the wall, which allowed him to elevate and take away a possible home run by Chris Davis.
A very underrated part of J.D. Martinez's game. Sanchez loves it. Well, J.D. has played right field very well this year for the Tigers. We seem to focus on his home run balls, but he can get it out there in right field as well. Ubaldo Jimenez back to work. It'll be Cespedes, Victor Martinez, and then J.D. Tigers with a 3-1 lead. Cespedes reaching out a fielder's choice in his first at bat, rolls this one to third. Machado takes an extra step, one gone.
Let's get you caught up, those of you that did not tune in at the top of the show. Victor Martinez continued his assault against the starter Ubaldo Jimenez. He has great numbers against him. He homered in the very first inning. Then in the second inning, a hit batter, Iglesias, he steals second. And then Anthony Ghost got himself a fastball at 93 right down the middle, hit it over the head of Jones in center field for a ground rule double.
Here is Martinez. You just saw his home run. 6 on the year now for Victor. Ball 1 to Martinez. Victor has hit safely now in his last 4 consecutive games. Here's the 1-0. Jimenez, 31 years old, signed by the Orioles as a free agent prior to the 2014 season. Here's a strike called, 1-2 on Victor.
And we told you that he made a few tweaks to his delivery. No longer does he go over the head with his windup. It simply goes up around the face area, then comes right back down. And because he's done that, it's allowed him to throw more strikes. He's been a lot more consistent in throwing the ball over the plate.
And he threw that one by Martinez. 2 gone. Time out for the Lowe's Never Stop Improving stat. Here's a guy that has not stopped improving, J.D. Martinez. You see his numbers from 11 through 13 with Houston. In just a short amount of time, he's doubled his home run output here in Detroit.
He has really figured out some things the last couple of years with that bat.
J.D. struck out in the first. Jimenez now with 3 strikeouts. He may have tweaked his delivery to the plate route. He still has a little thing that he does right before he delivers the ball. He kind of hinds it behind his back.
Right, he does.
A little deception there.
His walks are down this year. He was nearly 5 walks every 9 innings last year. He's down to 3 this year. And here's the delivery. And no longer going over the head, simply going up to the shoulder area, then squaring up those shoulders before throwing that fastball home.
Strike call. J.D. is caught looking. 4 strikeouts for Jimenez. We go to the 4th at Comerica. Fourth inning here at Comerica Park, and the Tigers play these Orioles Sunday at 1:08. It's Sunday Kids Day. All kids 14 and under receive a free Paws Coin Bank. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com if you'd like ticket information. Here come the Orioles now in the fourth inning. Matt Wieters leads it off. They will shift him to the right side of the infield. Wieters had a single in the second. .274 batting average for the Baltimore backstop. And a ball low, 2-0 from Sanchez. Wieters takes outside. He's gone 3-0. Before last year, Wieters had 3 consecutive seasons of 20 or more home runs. J.J. Hardy waiting on deck. The Orioles hit a lot of home runs. In fact, 110, fourth most in the American League. And they almost had another one, but J.D. took one away from Chris Davis.
Yeah, they hit a lot of home runs last year as well, led by Nelson Cruz, who's now playing for the Seattle Mariners. Cruz hit 40 home runs last year.
They lead Major League Baseball with 321 since last season. Ground ball, base hit against the shift.
Nice piece of hitting there by Matt Wieters. He simply tried to hit that ball the opposite way and was successful doing so. With only one man on the left side of the infield, although Iglesias can cover that entire left side of the infield, he simply takes that two-seam fastball at 92 and hits it the opposite way. But I'm wondering, why in the world would you pitch him right there?
I don't know.
And you only have one guy on that side of the field. You would think that they would go inside to see if he'd hit that ball on the other side where they had 3 infielders.
There's a strike call. Did you notice where the catcher was set up? I mean, did he just miss his spot?
I didn't notice.
And we've seen that several times this year, pitching against the shift, which never seems to make much sense. So J.J. Hardy is up there now with the leadoff single.
Here's another look at it. It appears that McCann was set up away on the outside part of the plate. Tailing fastball at 92. And just a really nice, easy swing put on it by Wieters.
So Wieters now 2 out of 2 in this game. Hardy takes one outside.
And J.J. Deadpool hitter. He's got some pop in his bat. 5 homers this year. J.J. Hardy has won 3 consecutive Gold Gloves.
Well, not much is said about this guy, but he goes out and plays Gold Glove defense, hits for power. He pulls that one right by Castellanos down the line. Wieters on his way to third. He better get there quickly. And to second base on that throw goes Hardy.
It might have been a wiser decision there by Yoenis Cespedes to simply throw that ball to second base, even though Wieters is a catcher, doesn't run all that well. And Cespedes has a really good arm in the outfield. Didn't appear to me that he was going to get Wieters, but he may have been able to keep Hardy at first base, which would keep the double play in order had he simply came up and threw that ball to second instead of throwing that ball to third.
So 2 in scoring position, nobody out in a 3-1 ball game, and here is Travis Snider. Ball 1 high. Snider was hitting with runners at the corners and 1 out in the second, but popped it up to third base, unable to get the run in. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. It has not been easy for Sanchez in this game. He did have a 1-2-3 first, but there's been a lot of traffic the last 3 innings. And he was helped out by Martinez with a leaping catch, taking a home run away. That's in there, a strike called. Good pitch, 2-1. Snider at one time a huge prospect in the Blue Jays organization. First round pick of Jays back in 2006.
He was an outstanding football player too when he came out of high school. He could play. Played linebacker.
Inside 3-1. So Sanchez continues to labor here in the fourth. Snyder last year hit 13 home runs in Pittsburgh. And he lost it, ball 4. That will load the bases with nobody out. First one for Sanchez in the walk column. He's going to bring out Jeff Jones. Well, time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag DetroitDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. Meeting on the mound right now, a situation developing here in the fourth inning. Single, double, walk to load the bases. And a prime opportunity for the Orioles. Jonathan Schoop will stand in with nobody out. Tigers in this game have been out hit 6-3. Wieters at third, Hardy at second, Snyder at first. Sanchez will throw from the windup. And he popped it up. Behind home plate, McCann is going to have a play. And on one pitch, he gets Schoop. One gone. Big out there for Anibal. That'll bring up Parmalee. He flat out to right in the second. Defensively, a little bit of a window to the left side of the infield for Parmalee to shoot for if he wants to. Sends a bouncer back up the middle. This might be 2, 4, 6, and safe at first base. And the run will score. Coming in from third is Wieters to make it a 3-2 ball game.
That ball was hit hard enough to turn to, but Ian Kinsler had to pick the best hop, which means he had to back up a couple of steps to get that hop. And then by the time he got the hop off the bat of Snyder, he shuffled the ball to Iglesias, but not before Snyder able to cross that bat. Parmalee, excuse me.
Parmalee clearly beat it out. He'll get an RBI, his 7th of the year. 1-run ball game now. And it looked like Sanchez might be able to escape the jam with no run. Now he'll deal with Manny Machado. Singled and scored back in the third. Ball 1 high. Machado backs out of the way. 2-0 the count on the Orioles third baseman.
It's not the first time that Anibal Sanchez has gone aggressively inside to their leadoff hitter and Machado. It must be part of the game plan that they're liking to execute tonight against Manny.
Machado had a rip and he fouled it straight back. 2-1.
A hanging breaking ball right there. Not a really good pitch thrown by Sanchez, but he got away with it.
Machado played in his second All-Star game this year, had a double and an RBI in the game. His other All-Star appearance was 2013. In there is strike 2 and 2.
Good fastball inside. 92 miles an hour. As a matter of fact, just about every pitch he's tried to get inside to Machado, with the exception of the one hanging breaking ball.
Sanchez now up to 73 pitches in this game. Machado takes high, run it full at 3-2. It'll put Parmelee on the move.
He's got Manny Machado set up for a real good, firm four-seam fastball on the outside corner after every other pitch has been inside.
And he missed high. Off speed up high. That will reload the bases. With 2 outs, a run in, and Jimmy Paredes will step in. Well, he's gotten Paredes twice via the strikeout. But by and large, these are situations in which Paredes has excelled in. 389 this year with men in scoring position. Tying run standing at third, go-ahead runs at second and first. Strike one in the outside corner. Hardy at third, Parmelee at second, and Machado at first. Drill to right field, sinking and caught. No. Oh man, Martinez wasn't sinking, it was taken off on him. But J.D. Seed with it. Minor damage done. So settled for 1 run. Fourth inning. Join us again tomorrow night. Watch your Tigers take on these Orioles at 6 p.m. only on Fox Sports Detroit. Tomorrow night our coverage begins at 6 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. A very warm and muggy evening tonight here at the ballpark. Tigers holding on to a skinny lead in this one. Castellanos will start things off against Ubaldo Jimenez. 3-2 is our score. And they play Castellanos to pull with a strike called 0-1. There's the shift. Anything on the ground, according to the scouting report, says it'll go to the left side of the infield. But typically when Castellanos hits it in the air, it's around to the other side. Therefore, the outfield not shifting like the infield. They've gone the other way. did fly out to left his first time up, and he pulls that one to the shortstop. Hardy with a long throw in time for the out.
Just a couple of years ago, very seldom did you ever see right-handers get shifted on. Now in baseball, you're seeing quite a few right-handers get shifted on the exact same way that Castellanos was shifted on. And before that pitch was delivered by Jimenez.
It's a good point. I mean, shifting typically was reserved for the big power-hitting lefties.
Yep. And I think a lot of the shifting that was done was just to get into the head of the power-hitting left-handers to see if they wanted to hit the ball the other way. And if they try to hit something the other way, then the opposing manager felt like his team would simply win that battle. They'd rather give up a single the other way than give up a home run to a left-hander.
Here's how they play Avila.
I can't think of another player on the Tigers team that loses more hits due to the shift than Avila does.
No, he's got to be tops. Avila playing first tonight. The Tigers recalled Dixon Machado from the minor leagues. Mark Krause placed on the paternity list, so he is not with the team tonight. That one is pulled into the shift, but he's going to find a hole. Alex comes up with a 1-out single.
J.J. Hardy, the shortstop, playing basically the second base position, and J.J. runs over for it, but not able to make a play on it.
Hey, just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here is James McCann. Tigers now had 4 hits. McCann grounded out to the second baseman his first time up. And then has busted him inside 1-0. Good block at home plate by Wieters. 2 balls, no strikes. Jimenez had most of his success with the Rockies when he first came up. Then he went to Cleveland, and I would say largely underachieved, although he had a pretty decent year his last year in Cleveland. I think they expected more than 26 wins, 30 losses.
Yeah, he did not perform all that well for the Tribe.
To the right side off the glove of the first baseman, and no throw. Parmalee could not bring that ball in. There are 2 men on now for Detroit.
That should go as a base hit for James McCann.
I am writing down single.
And nice play, a nice effort by Parmalee coming off the bag. Ball tips right off the glove. Scope, the second baseman, goes over to pick it up, but not before. McCann able to cross that bag safely.
So Machado now with a brief visit for Jimenez. Jose Iglesias will step in. Tigers trying to rebuild their lead. It's down to 1, 3-2. That indeed is a single to or for James McCann. Ball 1. By the way, you know who our official scorer is tonight?
Who would that be?
The venerable Tom Gage.
Tom Gage?
Yeah, the Hall of Fame writer, formerly of the Detroit News, FoxSportsDetroit.com. He's filling in tonight for our official scores. Apparently we're down 2, so Tom was called in. The 1-0 is in for a strike.
Well, I'm sure he'll do a nice job. Lord knows he's watched enough baseball.
That he has. Iglesias hit by a pitch, stole a bag, and then scored a run in the second. Just off the plate. There's Mr. Gage.
I think he likes this gig.
Dude, too, he's smiling.
Yeah, he is.
There's no deadline pressure.
He got serious all of a sudden.
Keep calling him Tommy. What a great man. Driven deep to left field. This ball has a chance to go. Iglesias has gone deep. It's a 3-run shot.
Look out, little man.
Iggy looking more like Miggy with that swing. And it's 6-2 Detroit.
He had a little stutter step over at third base, a la Miguel Cabrera as well.
What a huge hit for the Tigers.
It really is a big hit because Jimenez usually when runners are in scoring position, he pitches his best baseball. The batting average is 181 against him in these types of situations, but that appeared to be a changeup or splitter at 85 that leaked right on the inside part of the plate to Iglesias, and Iglesias hits his second homer of the year.
3 RBIs as well, 18 for the season. The Tigers lead by 4. Ghost tries to lay down a bunt. Oh no, he didn't just do that, did he?
Yeah, he did.
No, he did not.
Yeah, he did.
The little guys are flexing now. Ghost again tries to drop one down, but missed. 0-2. 3-run shot for Iglesias after the singles by Avila and McCann.
Ubaldo just does not pitch very well against the Tigers. And we talked about the last 9 starts he's made in this ballpark, the ERA approaching 7. And we were also having a conversation about Jimenez when he was pitching for the Indians. The Indians, by and large, got him to help them against the Tigers. And he just did not pitch well against the Tigers while he was there.
Well, you wonder what is behind the numbers in this ballpark as he strikes out Ghost for the second out. I mean, this is considered a pitcher's ballpark with all the room you have out in right center and in center field.
Well, the Tigers the last few years, they've had outstanding offensive teams, obviously led by Miguel Cabrera, who's absolutely torched Baltimore pitching. But he just, for whatever reason, when the Tigers show up, he does not perform well.
5 strikeouts for Jimenez. That'll bring up Ian Kinsler. And Ian looks at ball 1. Single and a strikeout for Kinsler. Tigers have scored in 3 of the first 4 innings in this game. And they've hit a couple of home runs, Victor Martinez and Jose Iglesias. Jimenez stays away, 2-1. So Sanchez receiving some support. Meanwhile, he has had to tiptoe through a lot of traffic on the bases in this game. Kinsler pulls it foul.
He's also thrown quite a few pitches in the contest through the first 4 innings, which means they'll be lucky to get 6, 7 possibly out of Sanchez here tonight.
77 through 4 innings for Anibal. Way outside, 3-2.
Yeah, but if you're Brad, you're not really all that concerned about the pitch count of Sanchez or whether you have to dip into the back end of your bullpen here tonight with David Price towing the rubber tomorrow. He usually goes 8 innings. That would be David.
Lifted to right field, slicing away from Davis, who stretches out and makes a nice play.
Second nice play Davis has made out there tonight.
However, the Tigers do more damage. Jose Iglesias, 3-run shot. Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire, get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Meijer, save big with M-Perks from Meijer. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Mechanical Bull still going strong here at the ballpark. Country night here at Comerica. 6-2, Tigers have the lead. Thank you very much, Jose Iglesias. A 3-run shot to extend the lead. And Adam Jones will start things off now against Anibal Sanchez. Jones, Davis, Wieters, 3, 4, and 5 in Buck Showalter's lineup. Sanchez loaded the bases with nobody out in the last inning and surrendered just 1 run. Jones 0 for 2 has hit the ball in the air to right his first 2 at bats. That one goes to left. Leadoff single.
Check out this chart here on Jones. 41 hits toward left field or to the left side of the infield. You would think that he would be a guy that you would overshift on in the infield, right?
Well, the Orioles now have put the leadoff man on in 4 consecutive innings. Swing and a miss. Davis out in front.
He made a bid for his 20th home run of the season. Now, the last time he was up with an outstanding play in right field turned in by J.D. Martinez.
He robbed him over the wall to pull it back.
Of the 19 home runs that he's hit, only 5 have been on the road. Here's that play made by J.D. in the second.
He measured it and timed it beautifully.
And that is the key to making that play.
That is pulled right to the second baseman. Quick throw to first and a double play.
Ian Kinsler's feet weren't even on the ground, and he threw this ball to Avila to get the double play. What a play by Ian. He jumped for the ball, and he exchanges it to the throwing hand, and the feet are still in the air when he lets it go. Nice athleticism.
So with 2 outs, here is Wieters. Pretty close play at first, but out. Strike 1 to Matt Wieters. Couple of singles and a run scored in this game.
Boy, did Anibal Sanchez need that.
Yeah, because it was looking like another inning with a lot of folks on the bases. Seven hits allowed by Sanchez in this game. Wieters looks at a ball low, 1-1. Home run balls have also been a problem for Sanchez this year. 19 of them allowed. And the one that Davis hit looked like it might go right before it was snatched back by Martinez. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, the next homer that he gives up will equal a career high.
Here's the 2-1. 2-2 on Wieters. Waiting on deck, J.J. Hardy. Swing and a miss. That turned into a quick inning for Sanchez. Tigers baseball tonight, presented by Bell Tire. countdown is on from now until midnight Sunday. Get outfield box tickets for just $38 to see the Tigers play the Mariners this Monday through Thursday. Offer available exclusively at Tigers.com/diamond deals. Enter the coupon code SUMMER. Here comes Yoenis Cespedes to lead it off as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Ubaldo Jimenez brings it home and misses outside, ball 1. Cespedes, then Victor Martinez, and then J.D. Martinez. 1-0 sails inside, 2-0 on Cespedes.
A dangerous count here if you're Jimenez and you're going to try to throw a fastball by Cespedes.
Ball low, 3-0. Waiting on deck, Victor.
Yoenis could have the green light here, which means he could swing the bat if he chooses to do so.
He chose not to. 3-1. This is a season high in earned runs allowed. The previous high 4 for Jimenez. 3-1 pitch. Bouncing ball, third base side. Machado, nice spin play. 1 gone.
This is a real nice play turned in by Machado. He's made 12 errors already at the third base position, but look at where he throws this ball from. Underneath, and he gets that kind of arm strength across the diamond and throw out a guy that can run. And pretty well in Yoenis Cespedes.
He threw it letters high right to Parmelee.
A couple of years ago, Machado won a Gold Glove, and not only did he win a Gold Glove, but he won a Platinum Glove, which meant he was the best defender in the American League in 2013.
Bud Norris warming up in the bullpen now for the Orioles. Here's Victor. High, towering fly ball to center. Jones cruising back. 2 gone.
Bud Norris has been struggling this year. That's why he's pitching out of the bullpen these days.
Norris, former member of their rotation. Looks like he'll be next into this game, but right now Jimenez is looking for a 1-2-3-5. JD has not been able to figure out Jimenez tonight. A couple of strikeouts.
Yeah, lots of breaking balls early in counts, and then he finished him off with a breaking ball the first time up. Then he threw a fastball by JD the second time up for a strikeout.
Martinez hit .333 in the road trip prior to the All-Star break. There's 25 home runs, 3rd in the American League. And it's in there for a strike, 2-1. I know we talked about this before, but it really would have been fun to see Martinez in the home run hitting contest. It was high drama in the home run hitting contest this year. Martinez would have been tailor-made for it. Do you buy into the argument that it messes up your swing?
No, I don't think so. I mean, not guys that know how to stay within themselves. Obviously, for that 30-minute time limit that you're out there swinging and you're in that competition, you're not going to take your normal swing. But I think nowadays guys, have the ability to get back to their normal swings after they've been in a home run contest.
2-2 on JD. 378 in the month of July coming in. Drives one deep to left. This one is way back, and it is gone. A home run. Number 26 for J.D. Martinez. Told you, should be in a home run hitting contest. 2-out solo shot. That is going to signal the end for Ubaldo Jimenez, whose troubles continue at Comerica Park. Tigers get it for 7 big ones in this game. Wallside Windows pitching change. We'll be back.
then Wieters wanted the split-fingered fastball outside. This one leaked right back over the heart of the plate at 83 miles an hour, and J.D. Martinez put an outstanding swing on it. This not a good pitch thrown by Jimenez, and that's the reason why he has departed this game, giving up 7 runs in the game.
Well, J.D. just continues to hit him out.
And he really likes the ball middle in and down and in. Also, just 2 home runs he's hit since June 7th that have been away from him.
So Martinez now has 17 homers in his last 38 games. Or last 32 games, I should say, with 38 RBIs in that stretch. Pretty impressive. 7-2 now. Tigers have the lead. Bud Norris, his first pitch, missing up and in.
Norris' numbers aren't good this year, and most of those as a starter. 2-9 with an ERA that's approaching 7. He's got outstanding stuff, but it really hasn't helped him a lot this year.
Here are the numbers on Ubaldo Jimenez. 4 2/3. 7 earned runs, the most since April 16 of a couple of years ago. That was against the Boston Red Sox. Playing a pull on the infield against Nick Castellanos. 2 out, nobody on with the homer hit from Martinez. Castellanos 0 for 2. And the 3-1. There goes the bat. The ball went the other way.
One of the things that Buck Showalter and his staff studied long and hard was what their rotation would be coming out of the break, just like every team does.
Sure.
But they decided on Jimenez, I guess because he's having a good year. But if you look at the numbers against the Tigers in this ballpark, you would think that wasn't a good choice.
Well, yeah, it makes you wonder what is more important, a guy that is hot right now or a guy that has struggled in a particular situation, meaning this ballpark.
Against this team.
Apparently he chose the guy that was hot. His ERA of 2.81 was 10th best in the American League, but that will take a healthy hike. And meanwhile, Castellanos has a walk.
.740 earned run average in 10 starts at Comerica Park.
There comes a point, I would think, whether you're a pitcher who doesn't do well in a certain park or against a certain pitcher, or a hitter, vice versa, where it just gets in your head.
Well, especially true for Showalter and his staff, because they look at a lot of numbers and they've kind of chosen the rotation not only for this series, but they kind of pick matchups 2 and 3 series down the road.
Avila has a single and a flyout. Shift is on to the right side. And he hit it the other way foul. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Alex has already beaten that shift once here tonight. Hit a ball right past the shortstop, Hardy, who's on the right side of the infield. And for a solid single into right.
This is the 3rd start at first base this year for Avila. He's played in there 5 times overall at first. He fouls it back 1-2.
Norris got a good fastball. 95. Decent breaking ball. His stuff much better than the numbers indicate.
Norris, a hot commodity in 2013 when he was with the Astros. The Orioles got him for the stretch run. Drilled to center field, right at Jones. And he'll make the running play to retire the side. Tigers have hit 3 home runs tonight. The latest off the bat of J.D. Martinez. the 6th, and Saturday it's an MLB doubleheader starting with the National League West leading Dodgers taking on the National League East leading Nationals. Then at 7 p.m. Eastern, the Indians take on the Reds in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1. Coverage begins at 4 Eastern only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. J.D. Martinez has become the third Tiger to hit a homer in this game tonight. Now Sanchez enjoying a 7-2 advantage as we go to the top of the 6th, and it's a strike call. J.J. Hardy, Travis Snyder, Jonathan Schoop in the 6th. Each ball club now with 7 hits. Pulled foul. Hardy already with a double tonight. A couple of really big spots in this game. The home run that was pulled back by Martinez off the bat of Chris Davis in the 3rd, and then a bases loaded, nobody out situation where Sanchez allowed just 1 run. But it really has not been easy tonight for Anibal, although he did have a 10-pitch 5th inning. 1-2 on Hardy. Off the plate, 2-2.
You have to admire what Sanchez has been able to do through 5 innings tonight. Doesn't have his best stuff, but yet you have to find a way to win the game. So far, he's done a nice job of that.
Full count, 3-2 on Hardy. Numbers on Sanchez tonight: 7 hits allowed, 2 runs. Here's the 3-2. In the air toward right, long run for JD. He was on a dead sprint, and he'll get there. 1 out, time for a game break. Here's Mickey York. All right, Mick, thanks. We'll keep our eyes on that game the rest of the night. The Tigers 9.5 back right now, at least. Tigers trying to get off to a good start here in the second half. They've got 7 at home, then they go for 10 on the road.
I made the comment when we came on tonight, the fact that the Tigers are 9.5 back as we speak.
That has popped up. McCann discards the mask, but Castellanos calls him off.
It took the Tigers 3 months to fall 9.5 back, and they're not going to make up that ground in 1 month. But if they have the mentality of maybe picking up 1 game a week against the Kansas City Royals, because they have so many more head-to-head games against Kansas City, they can get back into the Central. If they don't get in the Central, they always have the wild card sitting there.
Well, and that's the important thing that you bring up, all of the head-to-head matchups that still remain between the Tigers and Royals. And that added wild card certainly makes more teams involved every year. There's a fair ball, third base side. Schoop is on his way to second. And he'll pull in with a 2-out double.
Here's our high-speed pitch, and it's brought to you by Xfinity. The top fastball tonight thrown by Sanchez. 94 miles an hour. That's a 4-seam fastball. He's thrown quite a few 2-seamers with good movement, anywhere from 89 to 91.
Here's Parmalee. 2-out chance to drive in a run. The Orioles actually have more hits tonight than the Tigers do, 8-7. Fouled off. It never seemed like Parmalee could just stick a full season with the Twins.
And you know what? He always had outstanding numbers in AAA in Rochester. Then they called him up to the big leagues, and he just would not perform. He also had outstanding numbers for the Baltimore Orioles in AAA. But he had an opt-out in his current contract which said that he could go play for another major league team if he was not in the big leagues by a certain date. And they called him up because he was performing so well in the minor leagues.
.312 this year at AAA Norfolk. He was called up on June 16th. 13 doubles, 6 homers. And here he is.
But we've never seen Parmalee play first base when he was playing for Minnesota. It was either in outfield or he was a designated hitter.
Now the 0-2. High pop up. Shallow left field. Cespedes coming in on it. And Yoenis hauls it in to retire the side. Nothing comes of the 2-out double. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Wait, first 10,000 fans receive a free David Price bobblehead. It is courtesy of Ballpark. For tickets, visit Tigers.com or call 866-66-TIGER and get your David Price bobblehead. And Price was ready to greet Anibal Sanchez, gave him a big hug. Not once, but twice.
And some man love there going on between Price and Anibal Sanchez.
Yeah, any more than 2 times thought I'd gotten a little bit concerned, but they're okay. Here are the season numbers on Price, who goes tomorrow.
Only 25 walks, and he's punched out 115.
So David will take on the Orioles tomorrow. Meanwhile, we have another Wallside Windows pitching change. Tommy Hunter is on now.
Hunter's got a big arm. And fastball will get up to 96, 97, 98 miles an hour.
McCann starts it off and looks at a strike. James had a single, scored a run in the 4th, extending his hitting streak to a career high 8 consecutive games. Wave and a miss, 0-2.
After the All-Star break, 5 days off or 4 days off. Looks like Showalter might try to get an inning out of a lot of his bullpen pieces the remainder of this game, get everybody back in the action.
And it's a bullpen that has been pretty good, 3rd best in the American League.
I know.
In ERA at least. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And the back end of that bullpen's lights out with O'Day and Britton. Both guys made the All-Star team this year. The Orioles had 4 players on the All-Star team this year, just like the Tigers did.
Bouncing ball to short. J.J. Hardy. 1 gone in the 6th. Tigers opening up the second half of 2015 right here at Comerica Park in downtown Detroit. Mario and Rod, glad you are with us. Mark Isavano is our producer tonight. You know who's directing? Brian Moss. Here is Iglesias.
And last time up, he got himself, it appeared to be one of those split-fingered fastballs that kind of leaped in on the inside part of the plate. Real nice swing put on it by Iglesias. Second homer of the year for the very talented shortstop.
In there, a strike. Well, that certainly is not a big part of his game, but it's nice to see him muscle up every now and then. 3-run shot. Upping his RBI total to 18 on the year. Hunter's 0-1. Bouncing ball left side of the infield again. Hardy, quick release. And he got it by half a step. Two outs. That'll bring up Anthony Gose.
Told you that Hardy has won 3 Gold Gloves at the shortstop position, but he does not have great range. But he makes every single play on balls that are hit directly at him. He will show you some arm strength when he needs to do so. But I was reading some stuff on JJ today, and he's one of those guys that he's a war guy. A lot of, he makes all the plays. He throws accurately. He's always in the right spot. He's a guy that they really pay attention to the little things, not so much his athleticism at that position.
Here is Anthony Gose now with 2 outs. Down the left field line, slicing. That ball is up the base of the wall. Gose on his way to second. Anthony is sliding in there with a double.
Anthony Gose has picked it right back up again, man. That batting average is up over 285 again. Both of his doubles today have gone the opposite way. That's a hanging breaking ball thrown by Hunter, top of the strike zone. And he gets on top of it, gets some backspin, and flies over the head of Snyder off the base of the wall.
A pair of 2 base hits for Gose. Tigers now have a couple of doubles and 3 homers in this game. Here is Kinsler. He's 1 for 3. Ian had a really good road trip, really picked it up offensively. 333 on the trip. They play him to pull. They're going to try and take third. Here's the throw. In there. Gose alertly was on the move quickly.
Gose has outstanding base running instincts. And when you're on second base, you not only know what pitch is coming, but you also can look at the catcher. And once the ball goes down in the dirt, he's off and he's able to get there, even though it was a very strong throw, although off the line by Wieters. Most base runners wouldn't have even attempted to advance 90 feet on a ball like that.
Wild pitch. Kinsler takes outside, 2-0. Gose now an 11-game hitting streak. He continues to stretch his career high. Reno. Tommy Hunter last year saved 11 games out of the bullpen for the Orioles. And he'll miss outside. That is a base on balls to Ian Kinsler. Keep the inning going now for Cespedes. Tigers have had some action in their bullpen. That is Albuquerque, and he is continuing to throw now in the Detroit pen. Cespedes 0 for 3, run scored. Ball 1. Hunter back in the day when he first got to the big leagues was a starter in the Texas rotation. and was as well when he got to the Orioles, but now pitching out of the bullpen. Made 60 appearances last year, all out of the pen. Swing and a miss.
And Zach Britton, their closer, used to also be in the starting rotation for the Orioles.
Two out double by Gose. He's at third. Kinsler with a walk. He's at first. Bouncing ball left side. Machado has it. Cespedes is out. Side retired. No runs. Double a walk. Two left. We go to the seventh. In this one, Mario and Rod back here at Comerica Park. The Tigers, Ron, well, they've gotten a pretty good outing for Sanchez tonight. He's going to be done for the evening, but he kind of tiptoed around a lot of trouble. And really, I guess in the end, you put it the best. He didn't have his best stuff, and he pitched well.
And that's what you need to do. I mean, when you go out there and you don't have your best stuff, you have to somehow give your team an opportunity to stay in the game and win the game. And right now, Sanchez looking to win another game.
3 more homers tonight. The one I'm impressed with, though, is from Jose Iglesias.
Me too, but the bats of the Tigers, I mean, they've been sizzling hot in the month of July. Victor's been hot. Cespedes was hot. JD Martinez is hot. And a lot of those guys have gotten off here again tonight. And more importantly, we talked about this at 7 o'clock when we came on. The fact that they've got to do a better job at protecting home court advantage here at Comerica Park. They have not been a good home team this year.
Yeah, one under the 500 mark at home. Al Albuquerque, you saw the numbers on the Tigers reliever as we go to the 7th. And Manny Machado is the first man to face him. Machado, Paredes, Jones, top 3 in Buck Showalter's lineup. 6 innings tonight out of Mr. Sanchez. That's in there, a strike. And I think you brought up a good point earlier, too. Coming off the All-Star break, of course, the Tigers have had some off days, so you're not really too concerned with going to the bullpen, plus with Price tomorrow. They bring in Albuquerque here in the 7th. Al missing outside, 1-2.
Albuquerque, the last 5 times he's gone out there, he has thrown more fastballs almost in the slider. He's going to throw a slider here, but he's been throwing a lot of fastballs. Another fastball there. Finally, Jeff Jones has convinced him into using that 94, 95 mile per hour fastball to complement that outstanding slider that he had.
Here's the 2-2 outside, 3-2. When you have a pitch as good as Albuquerque's slider, I would think that sometimes it is difficult to throw something else. I mean, you know it's such a dominant pitch. 3-2. Missed inside, ball 4.
That's a great point. But your life is so much easier if you're able to locate that first pitch fastball over the plate when the other team obviously is looking for sliders, because coming into this season, Albuquerque, about 70% of the pitches he'd thrown in the big leagues had been sliders.
Now Jimmy Paredes, 5-run lead for the Tigers here in the 7th. Paredes is 0 for 3. Hit a ball hard as last time, but JD came on to make the play in right field, and Albuquerque misses way high. That'll bring McCann out to the mound.
Anibal Sanchez didn't throw 100 pitches in the game here this evening, but Brad obviously wanted to get some of the bullpen pieces in play here tonight. But if you're thinking about Sanchez, I guess the one thing that Brad may have been thinking about is the fact that even though he didn't throw 100 pitches, he pitched in quite a bit of stress.
Yeah, they were not easy innings tonight for Sanchez. Bouncing ball right side over the head of the first baseman. Avila couldn't quite get it. Machado will go to third, and the Orioles keep pecking away like they have all night.
And that ball right off the dirt. Avila tried to leap up and make a play, but not able to get up high enough to get any glove on it.
Orioles have gotten the leadoff man on in 5 of the 7 innings in this game. Now they have runners at first and third for the middle of their lineup.
If you're Al Albuquerque, you ought to be thinking about making one really good pitch here at the bottom of the strike zone. If it's a slider down and away, Jones will hit it to the shortstop, and then you will have an opportunity to turn a double play.
Jones a single in the 5th.
Adam, dynamic two-way player, but he has grounded into 13 double plays this season.
Strike call. What a gorgeous sky tonight here at Comerica. Colorful. 0-2. Swing and a miss. Jones out on strikes. Oh, fouled it off. Just got a piece of it, so says Fielden Culbreth.
Adam upset at himself the fact that he cannot lay off this slider that's bouncing. He just got a piece of that.
Right at the end of the bat. Orioles have 9 hits tonight. Only 2 runs to show for it, though. They want the check swing called, and he did not go, says Chris Siegel. One and 2. Chris Davis on deck. This is the meaty part of their lineup than Matt Wieters.
Tigers have a left-hander warming up in their bullpen should he want to bring him in for Davis.
That is Blaine Hardy. Here's the 1-2. Popped up. Second base side for Kinsler. Jones dispatched up. 1 gone.
It's a nice job of pitching here by Albuquerque. Starts him off with a breaking ball, then goes fastball, then it goes slider, followed by 2 more fastballs, the last of which was upstairs, and it jammed Jones.
So with Davis coming up, Albuquerque will depart. Blaine Hardy will come in and take on the lefty, and we'll be back.
play in the outfield. It is our big boy, big play of the game, JD Martinez, back in the third inning. It was Davis, Chris Davis, making a bid for a home run, which would have been number 20 for him, and JD elevates and brings it back.
So Davis will step in now with runners at first and third. And Blaine Hardy will come in to try and get him out. 40 appearances already now for Hardy. Inside, ball one to Chris Davis. Single, fly out, lined into a double play. Bouncing ball, foul, first base side. 1 ball, 1 strike on Davis.
Blaine Hardy has been money in these particular situations, inherited runners, and the amount of runners he's allowed to score. He's inherited 24 this season, and only 2 of the 24 have touched home plate. There is now a runner on third, less than 2 outs.
Two balls, 1 strike. Well, Hardy this year against lefties, they are hitting just 156 against him. Wilson, the right-hander, warming up in the Detroit bullpen. And the 2-1. He'll get back out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Chris Davis.
How about this list? Albuquerque, Hardy, and Wilson. Since May 1st, they have some of the best earned run averages in the American League as far as relievers are concerned.
Yeah, they're on a list with Wade Davis and Indians closer Cody Allen.
Wade Davis is just on another planet, man. His last 2 years, arguably 2 of the best years of any reliever in the history of the game.
There's a double play ball that's bobbled by Kinsler. Now he throws it away. A run will score. That was a routine 4-6-3, and it turns into a run for the Orioles.
And Blaine Hardy makes the pitch that he needs to make. Davis hit the ball sharply right at Ian Kinsler. Kinsler not able to make the play. Then he shuffles wildly to Iglesias, and Iglesias had to jump out of the way of Paredes, who was sliding in aggressively at second. That is the first error of the game for either team.
They'll put runners at first and second, and now Wieters will stand in against Hardy. Strike call. So Blaine did everything right. He got the ground ball, double play. Looked like it was going to end the inning. Uncharacteristic error by the Tigers defense, which has been one of the best in the American League so far. The 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike on Wieters.
Only the 46th error of the year by the Tigers. Only 39 this year committed by Baltimore. Only the Los Angeles Dodgers in all of baseball have committed fewer than Baltimore.
Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Good change piece at 80 miles an hour. Outstanding arm speed. That ball faded down and away from the switch hitting catcher, Wieters. He throws that with just looked like 3 fingers. Looked like the index finger and the thumb were just simply there to help out the other 3 fingers.
Swing and a miss. Wieters out of there.
Came right back with it.
First strikeout for Blaine.
Changeup followed up by a real nice slow curveball thrown by Hardy. It's almost like a drop ball.
The old drop ball.
Straight down.
Now J.J. Hardy with 2 outs. Strike one. One for three, a double for J.J. Hardy facing Blaine Hardy. Bouncing ball, shortstop side. Iglesias will flip to Kinsler to end the inning. They will get a run, leave a couple. Coming up, the Dick Scott Automotive 7th inning stretch. On 22nd, Tigers take on the Seattle Mariners. Ticket packages including limited edition Tigers cap. To purchase tickets, visit tigers.com/special events. Meanwhile, another new pitcher, Brock has come on for the Orioles.
ERA just a shade over 3. 49 strikeouts in 16 base on balls. Pitching in his 32nd game this season.
So Brock will go to work here in the bottom of the 7th facing Victor, JD, and then Nick Castellanos.
Brock's got a good arm. Fastball will top out at about 95. Average heater 92, 93. He'll sink some fastballs. He also has a slider and a split-fingered fastball that he uses quite often. As a matter of fact, the batting average against his splitter is just 143.
Victor Martinez, a 2-run homer in this game, 1 for 3. Brock replaces Tommy Hunter, who pitched the 6th inning for the Orioles. Grounded foul, 0-1. Brock, native of New Jersey, lives in Tennessee. High fly ball left field. Will stay in play for Travis Snyder, 1 out. We'll bring up JD Martinez. JD is also homered tonight, solo shot with 2 outs in the 5th. His 26th dinger of the year. Ball 1.
Of the 26 home runs that JD has hit this year, 17 have either gone to straightaway center field or the opposite way. 9 have gone to the pull field, so he's got power in every direction.
belted in the air down the right field line. Foul territory. Davis, long run. What a play by Chris Davis. He ran a long way for that ball. 2 gone. We'll bring up Castellanos. By the way, with that home run from JD earlier tonight, he's now tied Trout and Pujols for the American League lead in long balls. So with Castellanos up there, they play to pull. Walk, ground out, fly out for Nick. Strike 1. Neftali Feliz warming up. He was pretty impressive in his Tigers debut back in Minnesota. Ball 1.
Had a good fastball that day. And topping out at 95 miles an hour. Nice breaking ball. Former closer of the Texas Rangers, Feliz. As a matter of fact, the Tigers have 3 of the last closers for the Texas Rangers. Nathan and also Soria, along with Neftali Feliz.
Two balls, 1 strike. Nick Castellanos. In there, 2-2 on Nick.
95 with some late life on that fastball.
Brock played his college ball in Monmouth in New Jersey, where it's their all-time career leader in wins and strikeouts. Buries one in the dirt there, and the count fills now 3-2. He's what they would term a biggin. He goes 6'6", 215. And the 3-2. Swing and a miss. Castellanos is out. 1-2-3 inning from Brock. 7 in the books. 7-3 Detroit. Of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica, your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. And by Pixels in theaters July 24th. Beautiful night for baseball here at the ballpark. And right now, we send it down to Justin White for a preview of tonight's Tigers Live.
Hey, Mario, nice to see JD Martinez pick up right where he left off before the All-Star break. And coming up after the game on Tigers Live, I'll talk with JD about the home run he hit as well as the one he took away. Plus, we'll chat with Anibal Sanchez about his night, and of course, the thoughts of Brad Ausmus as well. Mickey York and Craig Monroe are in the Coliseum studios for Tigers Live immediately after the game, guys. Back to you for now.
All right, Justin, sounds like a plan. Meanwhile, Andrew Romine will check in. He'll play third base for the Tigers. Blaine Hardy is still out there. He's facing Travis Snyder here in the 8th. Snyder, Scope, and Parmalee due up. 7 runs, 8 hits, Tigers. 3 runs, 9 hits for the Orioles. That's in there, a strike, 1-2. Snyder has a walk to his credit tonight, otherwise 0 for 2. Little chopper back up the middle. Iglesias will charge. Nice play.
He just has fun playing defense. Kind of snatches it and gets it over to the throwing hand and flips the strike over to Alex Avila.
It's going to be it for Hardy, it appears. Brad coming out. Neftali Feliz will come in. We will step aside. 7-3 Detroit. Wherever you are with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or your tablets. Neftali Feliz now has come in for the Tigers.
Feliz has a fastball that will get up to 95, on occasion 96 miles an hour. He also has a changeup, but he does not throw that very often. So he's pretty much fastball, slider, an occasional changeup.
So Feliz will face Jonathan Scope here. Scope 2 out of 3, single double. He's knocked in a run. Oh, 2. Orioles have a bunch of guys left on base tonight, 9 of them. And Scope, when he singled in a run in the second inning, broken 0 for 22 with men in scoring position for the Orioles.
Overall on the season, their risk numbers aren't bad, but the last 2 weeks, they've been terrible.
Pulled to third. Fielding there is Romine. 2 away.
And Feliz made his debut for the Tigers last Saturday in Minnesota, and he got a slider hit on the ground, which turned into a double play off the bat of Joe Mauer. Then he blew away the youngster, Miguel Sano, with a fastball upstairs at about 95 miles an hour.
And you might remember Feliz as a hot shot prospect for the Texas Rangers was the Rookie of the Year in 2010. Beat out Austin Jackson that year. And a guy who routinely would throw better than 100 miles an hour. That was before the surgery. 0-1 on Parmelee. Swing and a miss.
Easy gas coming out of the hand of Feliz at 96 miles an hour. Nice, easy, smooth delivery.
Well, he still throws hard enough. There's no doubt about that to get guys out of the big leagues. Rangers, though, I think were a little bit wary of the inconsistency. That's hit in the air to left. Looks routine for Cespedes, and it is. That'll be it for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The bottom of the 8th inning. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast that is brought to you by T-Mobile. Got a new pitcher now. Brian Mattis has come on for the Orioles.
And Brian Mattis, another member of that Baltimore Orioles bullpen, which started his career as a starting pitcher. But now really good numbers posted by Mattis out of their bullpen. The ERA 2.28, 30 strikeouts, 16 base on balls in 27 games prior to tonight.
Alex Avila will lead it off for Detroit. And he looks at ball one high from the lefty Mattis. 6'5", 190. Grand Junction, Colorado is where he was born. There's the shift. One ball, one strikeout, Avila.
And Mattis' best fastball, probably about 92 miles an hour. Also has a pretty good changeup. He'll use the slider quite a bit as well. Not many curveballs.
Ball high, 2-1. There is action in the Detroit bullpen, and that is Joakim Soria. Strike called on Avila. 2-2. Mattis played his college ball in San Diego with the Toreros.
That's a nice part of the country. San Diego.
Here's the 2-2. Just off the plate, 3-2. I think we need to petition to have San Diego added to the American League Central Division.
Or at least go there every year. At least once.
Yeah, but I want 3 trips there.
You want 3?
Yeah, that's a long way to fly, though. 3-2. Swing and a miss. 1 away here in the game. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary to this point in this contest. What do we have? Victor Martinez, 2-run shot. Iglesias, 3-run shot. JD solo shot. And Sanchez went 99 pitches tonight. 6 innings, 8 hits, 2 runs.
Ubaldo Jimenez started for the Baltimore Orioles and is having a great year. And probably their most consistent starter all season. But he had a rough one today. 4 2/3 innings. And he gave up 3 homers and he gave up 7 earned runs against Tigers bats.
JD was pulling out the book. McCann looks at a strike 0-1. Single in 3 at bats for McCann. Ball low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Eight-game hitting streak for James McCann, who's catching tonight with Avila playing first base. Pulled on the ground to short. Already stumbled a bit. 2 gone.
Here's the 1-800-CALL SAM call of the game. It was back in the 2nd inning. It was 2 strikes on Iglesias, and he was hit by a pitch, and then he stole second base, and then it comes up Anthony Gose. And Gose got himself a fastball at 93 that bounced into the bullpen of the Baltimore Orioles, and the Tigers really haven't looked back since that moment in this contest.
So Iglesias will stand in. And he sends a ground ball left side in the hole. Hardy guns him out. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Mattis, which means we go to the 9th.
Against the starter Ubaldo Jimenez, and in the very first inning, Victor got himself a fastball, and he is now homered 4 times in his career against Ubaldo. And you said that Victor brought up and had some words after the final game in Minnesota, talking about, well, everybody's got to step up and do a little better. He did his part in the first inning.
That he did, number 6 on the year. Meanwhile, Joakim Soria will come in now to try and close this one down.
And not a save situation here for Soria, but get him in there, get him some work here tonight.
And the first one missing outside to Manny Machado. Manny is 1 out of 2 tonight. He has a couple of walks to go with it. .299 batting average for Machado. Tigers have been out hit tonight 9-8. However, they lead 7-3. Soria replacing Feliz. Hardy and Albuquerque have also pitched out of the bullpen tonight. That one sails outside 2-1. Three balls, 1 strike on Machado. Paredes waiting on deck. Pulled foul. Full count now on Machado. Tigers have 2 more coming up against the Orioles this weekend. Then Seattle will come in for a series before the Tigers hit the road for 10 away from Comerica Park. And there's a walk to lead things off here in the ninth. It's the 3rd walk of the game for Machado. Speaking of tomorrow, here is the upcoming matchup presented by Gordon Chevrolet. Chris Tillman facing David Price.
And Chris Tillman also struggling this season. 6 wins, 7 losses. The ERA approaching 5.5. You know what Price has done this year for the Tigers. 9-2 with a 238. They win just about every time he goes out there.
Tigers, if they hold on and win this game, are 1 game over the 500 mark.
Did you see where David Price tweeted that he took Astro to the All-Star game?
I even saw a picture. He was in the car with him, holding him up. Astro. Astro's a star, man.
Can you see Astro riding on a private plane?
Yes, actually. Sitting on Price's lap.
Oh, that dog is nice. I mean, how about that? Private plane for Astro.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. I remember interviewing David during Tigers Fest at Comerica Park at the beginning of the year. And the first question I asked him was about Astro, and he got upset. He goes, "Why does everybody want to know about Astro?"
Because he's always talking about Astro.
Exactly. And the All-Star game was a great example. 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a strike call. 1-2 now on Paredes. Adam Jones on deck.
That was a borderline strike, but it was given to Joakim Soria by Fielding Colbert. He is the home plate umpire this evening.
1-2.
Yeah, good breaking ball here. Slow breaking ball. It would either get you a ground ball, and maybe you can turn 2 with. If you don't turn 2 with it, you'll get the strikeout if you're able to locate it. Here comes the breaking ball.
Just got a piece of it to stay alive. Paredes had a single in the 7th. He is 1 for 4 in this game. Now the 1-2 again. And again a ground ball foul. 36,378 in attendance for this one here tonight, and what turned out to be a very warm evening. It'll be warm and muggy all weekend long. Tigers got to Jimenez early in this game and off. And Paredes continues to battle.
Got to get another bat.
Paredes will doctor that one up a little bit. Improve the grip. Runner at first, Machado. He led off with a base on balls. And he floats one high and away. Run the count to 2-2.
Usually when Soria decides to throw that breaking ball that goes anywhere from 68 to 72 miles an hour, he's able to get it down, but he's thrown a couple here to Paredes, and he's left him up.
Swing and a miss, and he finally blows him away. Fastball up, he got him swinging.
Went upstairs with a 92-mile-per-hour heater that Paredes was not able to lay off of. This pitch looks awfully good if you're a hitter. But where that's located, it's very difficult to get your hands up and get on top of that baseball.
A 9-pitch at bat for Paredes. Here's Adam Jones now with one away. Single and 4 at bats for Jones. And he fouls it back out of play 0-1. McCann got hit.
Backswing?
Yeah.
Didn't even phase him. Look at him.
Mosquito bite. I'm good.
I'm good.
One of the big stories here tonight for the Orioles, at least early on, was all the men they left on base. They had a bases loaded, nobody out situation early against Sanchez and picked up only 1 run.
Kudos to Anibal Sanchez, who went out there today with not his best stuff. Did not have his best command, but he battled and battled and battled. And every time they had a runner in scoring position, he made the pitches that he needed to make.
As a result, is in line to get the win here tonight. Pulled foul at third base. Sanchez just 2 outs away from his 9th win of the year.
If you're Brad Ausmus, you'd like to see Soria be as economical as he could possibly be to get these next 2 outs. His pitch count already at 18. You don't want him to throw too many, and then he'll be lost for tomorrow. If you need that save tomorrow.
Here's the 1-2. Ground ball, base hit, right field. Jones has his 2nd hit of the night. And now the Orioles putting something together here in the 9th. 2 on, 1 out. Make it 10 hits now for Baltimore this evening. So here's Chris Davis. Davis reaching on an error by Kinsler in the 7th inning and what appeared to be a sure double play ball. He's also singled and scored in this game and had a home run taken back on a nice leaping catch by J.D. Martinez. Shift is on. He takes ball 1. And that was the 20th pitch now for Soria. swing and a miss, and a healthy cut there by Davis. 1-1.
Yeah, real nice pitch thrown there by Soria.
McCann down to block it. 2-1. Soria having to labor here in the ninth, and it all began with the walk to Machado.
He labored in his last outing before the break as well. That was that night where the Tigers lost to Minnesota, and they had a 5-run lead in the ninth.
That one's outside, and the count goes 3-1.
As a matter of fact, Soria on Friday did not record an out in that outing that he had. That was the first time in his major league career that he had taken the mound and not recorded at least one out,
resulting in a stunning loss for the Tigers.
It was stunning. It sent them reeling for a couple of days.
And a strike call. 3-2 now on Davis.
Davis was sitting on a softer breaking ball. He took that fastball right down the middle.
Got him. Strike 3. Davis thought he had a walk. Instead, he's punched out.
Apparently he's got a beef. Whoa. Fastball at 95. Looks like it's a couple of inches off the plate, but fielding Cobra, if he punches out Chris Davis.
So the Tigers get a break there, and now we're down to one final out to get. Matt Wieters will step in. Wieters with 2 singles in this game, 2 out of 4. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. Soria now up to 26 pitches here in the 9th inning. Two on and 2 out, 7-3 ball game. Here's the 0-1. Strike called. 0-2 on Wieters.
Apparently the left-handers in Davis and Wieters are looking for off-speed pitches because both guys are taking fastballs that are right down the middle. Although that final strike to Davis, I will say, looked like it was off the plate.
Now Soria needs one more strike. J.J. Hardy waiting on deck. Slow roller toward first. It is a foul ball. Soria needs to end it here. The tying run is sitting in the on-deck circle. Well, technically he's standing in the on-deck circle. There is Hardy. $36,378 tonight at the ballpark. Screaming for a final strike. Ground ball to third. Romine has it there. And the Tigers win game 1 of the series. In the 9th, no runs, a walk, a hit, 2 men left. Final score, Detroit 7 and the Orioles 3. And a good start to the second half for the Tigers. Their bat showed up tonight. And we will step aside. We'll be back to Comerica Park. There's your final score, 7-3 Detroit.